Damn, I can't even lie. It feels good to really hear the intro. It does feel good to hear the old intro. So it's audio only today. Well, at least right now. And then the people after this are going to be getting the video, or at least the people that have members. So if you're a member on the channel, click the little dollar sign. For $5, you can become a member. After the stream is over, we're going to be doing the video kind of recap, if you will, right? We'll be doing the video recap. If you're new to this channel, my name's Jonathan. A lot of people call me Truth. I'm going to be talking about something today that's going to be a really interesting subject. Um, this is going to be something that I don't think I've really heard anybody explain in the way that I'm getting ready to explain this. All right. So let's go ahead and get right on into this. I saw this on Lexus Exodus's profile. If we have some lag and everything like that, then forgive me. But it's about Ketanji. Ketanji. I know I'm gonna mess up this name terribly, so forgive me again. Judge Ketanji Brown, the newest Supreme Court pretty much judge, right? In an article that the New York Post posted. All right. The article says this: why more black women should consider marrying white men. All right. Ketanji Brown Jackson and her husband, Patrick Jackson, two of the most powerful positions in the United States government will be held by for the first time. Black women, Kamala Harris and Ketanji Brown Jackson. Brown Harris and Brown Jackson are also a personal attribute of equal noteworthy. Each has a white husband. This fact is significant. The effects of racism have left well-educated, yada, 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 yada. This article pretty much explains and kind of really gets deep and heavy into the background, right? And their background gets into apparently the books that have been written about this. And it really does a good job of explaining it. Once again, you can check this out on Lexus Exodus's profile, all right? You can check this out. So why am I bringing this up to begin with? Well, I'm bringing that up to you because I'm kind of talking about the mainstreaming of divestment, right? Divestment at this point has gone mainstream. And I want to point this out for a few reasons. We got to point this out for many reasons, but the biggest reason is that divestment happened or was able to go mainstream before the Manosphere's message was, or whatever the men's message was, essentially, right? Divestment somehow was able to be picked up by the mainstream. Now, why is this possible? How was this possible? How did this happen? We'll talk about all this in a little bit. But there's a lot of people who aren't necessarily happy, and this is a lot of black people as well who aren't necessarily happy with Ketanji Brown Jackson because of a lot of things in their past, the judging records, this, and that, this, and that. And so I want to pick apart everything. And in a few minutes, I'm going to really just kind of layer everything together for you to really give you a broad scope of just how fascinatingly interesting this particular case is. Now, we're going to watch a video really quickly. The video we're going to watch is her when she was having her hearing done. Now, the hearing that she was actually being composed by or amongst her, whatever her peers that were judging her, were obviously people who are going to be of other races, right? Because she is getting ready to be sworn into the Supreme Court, right? This is the highest court, if you don't know. Obviously, we all do know this. And so in order to get into this court, this brotherhood, this fellowship, whatever it might be, you have to go through a certain process. And this process is like a hearing of days long, and you all know about this and everything, right? And we all saw these clips and things like that. I'm going to play you a few of these clips because the clips that we're going to watch here in a second are going to be really racially charged and motivated. And it's for a certain reason. It's for a particular reason. I'm not calling out anybody in particular groups and anything like that, but we're going to be playing these and watching these clips for a particular reason because I think that it has a certain importance that we have to explain in the middle or going on, during these streams, right? So I'm going to play this and I'm going to stop it every once in a while and explain why I'm playing this, okay? But this is a hearing, and just kind of buckle in. If you haven't seen this before, then buckle up. For our audio listeners, you're not missing much.
Because I love the law.
Why isn't it rational to sentence people who have thousands of images on a computer to more time as opposed to somebody who has one or two pictures in the mail? In other words, the more images there are, why wouldn't you want to sentence that person to more time rather than less? Why isn't that rational?
Senator, I've answered this question, and I'll stand on what I already answered.
Your nomination turned out to be a testing ground for conspiracy theories and culture war theories. The more bizarre the charges against you and your family, the more I understand the social media scoreboard lit up yesterday. I'm sorry that we have to go through this. These are not theories that are in the mainstream of America, but they have been presented here as such.
But after enduring 2 days of attacks from Republicans, Senator Cory Booker drove it all home with this supportive message.
It's not going to stop. They're going to accuse you of this and that. Heck, in honor of your person who shares your birthday, you might be called a communist. But don't worry, my sister. Don't worry. God has got you. And how do I know that? Because you're here. And I know what it's taken for you to sit in that seat.
Okay, here's the thing.
So I'm gonna stop it right here. That was Cory Booker. He's a senator as well, a Democrat, right? Now Cory Booker also was flamed, destroyed, all over the internet for supporting. And obviously we know that he's going to be flamed and destroyed for supporting. We'll show you the comments in 1 second, right? But those are just a few of the clips. Now those aren't even the outrageous clips. The outrageous clips come a little bit later in the video. And let me see, I'll find one really quickly just to show you how outrageous it truly was, right? So bear with me. We have to kind of go through this in order to get to where we're going, right? We have to go through this. This is very important, right? This is the senator of Texas, Ted Cruz, actually.
Into our legal system.
One portion of the book says babies are taught to be racist or anti-racist. There is no neutrality. Another portion of the book, they recommend to babies confess when being racist. Do you agree with this book that is being taught with kids that babies are racist?
Does the United States need more or fewer police? Do you know how long the average inmate convicted for a murder serves in prison in America? Let's turn to rape. Do you know how long the average inmate convicted of rape serves in prison? In 2020, murders increased by the fastest rate ever in the United States. Do you know what percentage of murders are solved in America? Do you know what percentage of sexual assaults and rapes go unsolved in this country? Do you think we imprison too many violent criminals or not enough?
Now,
So this is yo, man, this is amazing. So she endured days of this, right? Days of this learning. I think said Ted Cruz had a lot of nerve when he tried to run out of Texas to Mexico. Yeah, we had the big freeze. Ted Cruz left us. He was gone. Ted Cruz left. So they got a lot of nerve to talk, right? But nah, I'm not gonna even say that right now. So let's continue for a second, all right? I had to let you know what the energy was for Ketanji as she was going through this process, right? Now, obviously, she is the first Black woman that's going to be in the Supreme Court. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to feel a lot of different ways, but we have to talk about those people that are feeling these different ways as well, right? Because the opposition that she's actually being, mainly opposed by are not, in this case, Black people, okay? I'm going to be completely brutally honest in this live stream because we need to be completely brutally honest at this moment in time. And we're going to continue to be completely brutally honest, all right? I wanted to just kind of bring one thing to light before we move on. Once again, I got to give you a huge shout out to Alexis Exodus for bringing this case to light. And the incidents of her charging these guys with these child, lascivious incidences. A retired judge said this about this because I know that this is causing a lot of issues with a lot of people. Retired federal judges defend Ketanji Brown Jackson's record on CP cases, child adult film cases, as entirely consistent, right? So a group of federal retired judges, including 2 Republican appointees, told the Senate Judiciary Committee on Monday night that Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson's record on CP sentencing is entirely consistent with the records other judges across the country, rejecting criticism from Missouri GOP Senator Josh Hawley and others. So they're pretty much saying that what she did is nothing out of the ordinary, right? They're pretty much saying that what she did is not crazy. Right. She was okay for doing what she did. But let's break that down for a second and listen to what they're saying, right? Let's break it down for a second and really listen to what they're saying. They're saying that she's doing pretty much what everybody else is doing. And there's nothing wrong with that inherently, right? Because I think that in order for her to get into the position that she has to get into, she cannot ripple the waters that strongly, right? That's going to go really, 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 really badly against her, right? It's going to go really badly against her. But there's a fundamental issue that I think we really honestly have to really cover and address and talk about in this divestment topic of sorts, right? So this is the case, right? Convicted child, the farthest you can go in sexual activity, nabbed for assault after lax sentence from Ketanji Brown Jackson, right? Supreme Court nominee Ketanji Brown Jackson gave a lenient sentence to a child who would go on attack. We'll just fast forward the details for you. It's a black guy, so insert your jokes here. It's a black guy named Leo Weeks who pleaded guilty to failing to register as a sexual offender in 2014. All right. And so throughout this process, essentially what the case and what the article says is that the prosecutor was asking for 2 years, right? 2 years. So it's not necessarily that long of a sentence for, really actually literally quite penetrating sensually a minor, I believe a 12 or 13-year-old, as the article states, right? As it says right here, this is not a butt grab, quote, a misdemeanor kind of case. This is not consensual between a 20-year-old and a 16-year-old, the prosecutor told Jackson. This is an individual who, at trial, was convicted of essentially violently a 13-year-old child. Jackson, however, appeared unmoved, saying there was no evidence. Weeks had been intentionally ducking probation officers, though she had conceded he had gotten a number of breaks, perhaps undeservedly so, in the earlier assault case. So one of the things that I think that really bothers me about this entire thing is the fact that I got to stop sharing it through this. I just removed myself. One of the things I think really bothers me about this is the fact that this guy, right, that she gave a sentence break to had already had a couple of breaks, and she acknowledged that, but she decided to give him another break. And I think that this is something that fundamentally goes against what a lot of divestors set to do, right, or set out to do. And I think that this is actually why this hearing of sorts was so particularly fascinatingly interesting. And this is really just, man, there's so many aspects to this and so many angles to this that I can't even begin to really break it down and describe them all in tonight's live stream, because there's so many ways to take this case. But on surface value, right, assuming that that Supreme Court nominee Ketanji Brown is doing pretty much the same thing that everybody else is doing, other than the fact that she's a black woman getting nominated to Supreme Court, it's not necessarily a win per se for the black community as much as it is, for the image of black women, which I think is absolutely amazing, right? Black women are going up because they're working hard and they're doing very well for themselves. But I think that we would be very, 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 very fundamentally flawed as a people to not readily accept a conversation, or at least start to have a conversation that there's somewhat of an issue, and that there's something that I think might be a bit amiss in a few of the cases that she's tried. Now, once again, the prosecutors are saying that everything that she's done has pretty much been in alignment with everything that all the other judges do and things of that nature. But that's the problem. If we're supposed to have our people that are behind closed doors to actually help and to protect the people, if we're supposed to have our people, if you have a city full of black people per se, or white people, and you have white police officers and white judges, and you have black police officers and black judges, and you have this and you have that, then I think that the notion or the idea is that once your people are in a position, then they're going to do something that's going to help that community as well. But see, I think we have to. The thing about divestment is that its fundamental entity means separation from the community, right? And so I'm not saying that Ketanji Brown Jackson does not care about black babies, but I am saying that we're not being honest with ourselves if we're not admitting that divestment in and out of itself does mean separating yourself from the black community. And there are people in the black community that aren't black men who are apes, as I heard a lot of the divestors say, right? There are people in the community that are and will be left to the hands, right, or to the devices of people who, at the hands of some people in power, whatever it might be, the powers that might be, roam the streets. So in this particular moment in time and instance, I think that Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson is a wonderful, miraculous thing happening, and it's a great thing happening, and I'm glad that Joe Biden decided to appoint her. But I'm going to play something else. I'm going to read a couple more articles for you, and I want you to just take this into consideration as you think about these things going forward. The problem that a lot of people, or that a lot of conservatives per se, are having right now is that she's not hard enough on crime, right? Now, divestors make a point in their message to berate black men because they are so crime ridden. Okay. Divestors make it a point to make sure that I make it a point to make sure that the world knows just how destructive a good amount of black males can be, right? 1,000,000% necessary. However, the problem with this is that there's a fundamental flaw with connecting Ketanji Brown Jackson to the perfect idea of divestment, because in and out of that, you have essentially what divestment calls for, which is the forgetting, the aborting, the loss, in my opinion, it is the sacrifice of some of those who are just going to be left behind. Why? Because you just need to escape it. And hey, you know what? It is what it is. We need to help our people out. So let me back this thing. Let me back this thing up a little bit, right? Let me back this thing up a little bit. The exact words that were given by some of these conservatives were this, right? Were this. Let me just read this really quickly, right? Hold on 1 second. I can't find my articles. All right, here he goes. This is what they say here, and I think this is a legitimate point. If even a divestor has to agree with this, right? So I understand. Once again, we're separating Ketanji from her greatness, her amazing awesomeness as a human being, and her actual political representation in this particular moment in time. Right? There's a confliction. Right now. I thought that was it right there. All right. This is what they said. This is interesting. This is what they said. It said this. During the confirmation hearing, Jackson responded to criticism of sentencing record by insisting that federal guidelines needed to be reformed by Congress, right? Which did not sit well with Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, right? So what she said was she wasn't able to essentially give an adequate amount of time to some people because the laws that are in place for the sentencing right now is not adequate enough for the amount of time that she needs to be given or the amount of time that she would like to be given to people. It's just not there. That's essentially what I think that she's saying. This is bro political science 101. Take this with a severe grain of salt, right? But these guys went on to say this. It was not reassuring to hear Judge Jackson say that if senators want her to be tough on crime, we need to change the law, take away her discretion, and force her to do it, he said March 24th in announcing his opposition to her nomination. That response seems to confirm deeply held personal policy views seep into her jurisprudence. And that is exactly what the record suggests. So what they're saying right here is that she has not been as tough on crime as a lot of conservatives would be. And you also have to understand that coming from a white male perspective point of view, this is exactly what a white male who is a severe conservative of the United States of America in 2022 under President Biden's leadership rule is going to feel right now. This is going to be exacerbated by something like Ketanji Brown being the first black woman being nominated and not indicted. That's a horrible word to say, but given the biggest role of courtship, is that the word, right? In America, right? In the world, essentially, Supreme Court, right? So what we're seeing right now is like a supercharged, turbocharged, racial, huge beratement going. And Ketanji is much stronger than me because I would have definitely been swinging at some cats if they were talking to me the way that they were talking to her. Right? Absolutely 1,000,000%. But that does not take away the fact that what they're saying does have a bit of truth, right? It does have a bit of truth. So I want to ask, and I want to really just clarify on what the message is going forward in regards to this particular portion of divestment. Frick, I forgot to drop my alternative channel link. Oh, coming up in the future, we're going to be doing the live streams on the other channel, but I forgot to drop the channel link, so that's done right now. Let me see if I can play this really quickly. Hold on 1 second. Oh, also, let me say one thing as a side note. Apparently, and I saw this on the Permission to Exist channel, apparently the United States Secret Service Center released on March something this month, a national threat assessment that has to do with the Manosphere. I'm just going to take a listen to this really quickly because I thought this was crazy too. So a little detour for a second. If you donated, I'm sorry, I haven't looked at the comments, but thank you for donating and thank you for commenting. All right. This is crazy.
About men like this. Yes, men come up in conversation. Yes, we discuss men. Yes, we do. But if you'll notice, like, and I can only speak for myself, the majority of my content is not about men. The majority of my content is supposed to be very general, geared towards narcissism. My other channels are not devoted to men. I don't think about men all day long. I really don't. On a given day, it's surprising if one crosses my mind at all. And I'm being real. I start thinking about them when I get on the internet and engaging in social media. And that's when I'm like, oh my God, they're so annoying. I'm reminded how annoying y'all can be. But on a given day, I'm thinking through my grocery list, thinking through my errands, thinking through my next show, thinking through my next move. I'm not thinking about you. They wake up in the morning thinking about us. It's a fixation and an obsession. It's insane. Like, ladies, I wish you could understand how much you are thought about. Like, good, bad, indifferent. We completely rule their mind. We dominate their mind. It's a mind dominance. And I really believe they hate it, because anything that dominates your mind controls you. That's what controls you.
We'll fast forward a second. Hold on.
I agree, Hot Jobs. And what was the other one? Target related behaviors, attack planning, and final acts. And boy, oh boy, do we see some financial instability, failed life aspirations, suicidal ideation, behavior, interpersonal difficulties, blaming others, intense escalating anger, interest in violence, homicidal ideations, beliefs and fixations. Wow, it's right there in the report. Wow. Okay, I didn't know that. Beliefs and fixations right there. Harassment, a history of being bullied, financial instability, failed life aspirations, lack of consequences, target related behaviors, attack planning, and final acts.
All right, so that's the newest thing that's going down apparently on the Department of Homeland Security report review. The Manosphere, the Spheres, the YouTube drama has made its way to the feds, the federal government now watching. So we talked about that a few weeks ago. Shout out to Permission to Exist for actually covering that. That's nothing new if you've been watching me for a while, but yeah, people are definitely will be going down. Because the government's not going to, you think the government's going to let you play about their institution of marriage, money, church, and state? You think that the federal government's going to let you play about that, as well as people out here recklessly taking lives? People out here recklessly, okay. All right. Yeah. So no surprise there, but I thought that was extremely interesting. Yeah, there are actually federal dockets now that pretty much outline how they're going to start to monitor content creators online. They're looking at the cases. They're looking at people losing their lives. Black femicide is starting to make some noise. Divestment starting to make some noise, and they're starting to take notice. They're starting to take notice 1,000,000%, right? They're starting to take notice 1,000,000%. Let's get back to this, right? Let's get back to this. I think the conflicting message and the conflicting thing with the Ketanji Brown Jackson incident is, once again, that we preach about the protection of Black girls so much. We preach about Black children who are in Blackistan who have no hope, no outlet, no anything, right? And in the one instance, in the few instances when they do come into contact with somebody that does have the ability to severely alter or help or change or whatever it might be, in this case, we've seen that there was a chance that she had to do something when she just didn't. And we're talking about the protection of a child. Now, I don't know about what happened here. Okay. I don't know about that. I'm not a judge. I don't know about the laws. I don't know about how complicated things are. I'm just a simple guy, right? I'm a simple guy. But I do know this, that if the prosecutors told me that the person needed to get 2 years and this person had done something like rape, oh, I just said the word, fuck it. A young whatever, right? 2 years wouldn't seem that unreasonable to me. Okay? 2 years is not that unreasonable to me. That bothers me a lot, right? That bothers me a lot. Now, what am I saying, right? So what are you saying, Jonathan? What exactly do you want her to do? What can we not celebrate? Is there any celebration in this at all? I hate that I even said that. They're gonna roast me. Not to celebrate. Listen. Um, what Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson has done to get to where she's gotten to is politicked. Okay, she's a politician. All right, so her personal life and her political life are two completely different things. And I think the biggest problem with YouTube is that you can't critique somebody's actual life and their political life. Because when you do that, then you pretty much essentially critique that entire person, and then you're attacking that entire person, right? You can't, there is no ability for nuance between discussions online about certain content creators and this and that, because the cult following for them is so strong that you're like, fuck it, I don't care what she did, because I'm just happy. I don't care. I don't care. Yeah, it's a bit concerning, but it lines up. Well, that's a bit, but you know, well, yeah. But technically it's just like the rest of the judges, technically, right? Right? Well, no, it's not just like the rest of the judges. It's not like the rest of the judges at all. Because she's not like the rest of the judges. You see, the rest of the judges are the rest of the judges, but she's different, right? Now, I don't know how many black women judges we have, how many black male judges we have. I don't know how their records of sentencing go and this, and that. I don't know anything about that. All right? But I do know that the most powerful in the country run the country. It's a trickle down of power. Those at the top have the most power, and it trickles down from beneath. Those at the top run the game, right? Those at the top run the game. It's no secret that Democrats severely believe in liberal beliefs, right? Democrats believe in less harsh punishments as far as jail goes. Democrats believe in less severe, right, restrictions, or actually, well, more restrictions, to be honest with you, in some ways, less severe restrictions in other ways, right? But as far as the overall image of the Democratic Party, it is essentially to reduce, right? To reduce time that we give. A good portion of it is to reduce time. A large portion of it is Black Lives Matter at this point. Arguably, the majority portion of the Democratic Party is pretty much Black Lives Matter, right? So I think that we need to be really, really, really careful that that the actions of the person, that you're praising really match up with the person that you're praising, right? I get that as far as a relational standpoint, Ketanji Brown Jackson being with a white man is like your personal identity. Or it's like your personal victory, not identity. Fuck. It's like it's like a personal victory for a lot of people. I'm going to get fucking destroyed for saying that. Fuck it. It's a victory for all black people, to be honest with you, because she's a black woman and we have another black person on Supreme Court, So I think that's cool. Hey, I say that jokingly, seriously jokingly, right? Flame me later, please don't. But I don't want you to get lost in the fact of what reality is. And that is that she is a politician that does align against what a good amount of people who essentially support and praise her for right now. Okay? That's a fact. Okay? It's just a fact. So I know it's going to piss a lot of people off. And listen, there's nobody that would want to give somebody props to making it to the position as much as I would want to give her props. And she deserves the utmost props, because I don't know how she did it. It's wild how she got to that position, to be honest with you. Like, she's a monster. Okay. Not to mention that I think her husband's like a surgeon or something like that. So they're like together the craziest dynamic duo, right? So 1,000,000% to the top. To the top. I'm not saying she's got to put the entire black community on your back. I'm not saying she has to do any of that. I'm not saying any of that. She doesn't owe anything to the black community at this point. However, right? However, for the people that do speak in a certain aspect of protection of the innocent lives and souls in the black community, for you to completely just, it's not right. That's not right, and you're dead wrong about it. Let me pull this up really quickly. Hold on. Let me see this. I'll just put on the picture for now. Now, let me say one other thing, blatantly obvious. All right. Half of the people that were questioning her are like, they were straight up, like it was straight up racial, right? Straight up racist. Okay. Straight up racist. Straight up racist white guys and white women. All right. Blatant, out, no hiding it. Blatant, right? Ketanji's, she's so beautiful too, by the way. She looks beautiful. She's amazing. She's beautiful as hell, man. Sexy. With all respect, sexy. Yes. 1,000,000%. All right. 1,000,000%. Husband's black. Her husband's white. Okay. But don't forget the stern questioning that you just heard a couple minutes ago from the other white guys that were on the panel too. All right. I know truth. Black guys are killing. I know black guys are killing black women out here every 4.5, 5, 6 hours, brutalizing gangs. Nobody knows it more than me. I know. All right. Like I've said before, and I'll keep saying, I don't want you to run from hell to purgatory necessarily, though, either. I don't want you running from hell to Hades, from hell to the underworld, right? We're trying to get from one bad situation to a good situation. That's with life in general, right? Not just with dating. We're all trying to get from one situation to a good situation, okay? So don't just blatantly, blindly disregard, right? Ketanji also breaking down in tears in that courtroom from those same white people that certain content creators love to praise 24/7. Okay? Don't forget to mention that there are women on this channel that will tell you, that will call in if I open up the panel and let you know about all the racist incidences that they have when they work into the workplaces. Even Loren, who supports Taz and Nyla, even after they doxed me, has called into this channel to give you and to give us stories about the white women and the white guys in her professional workplace as she was doing sports management, right? She'll tell you. So let's be honest, okay? Let's be honest. Yes, she has a white husband, okay? And I'm so happy for that. I'm 1,000,000% happy for that. I just want you to have a good man. I really don't care what color he is, to be honest with you. If he's a propensity to be one color, then by all means. But a good amount, right? A good amount of divestors are showing complete, blind, blatant disregard to the obvious truth right now. That's staring us all in the face, that Ketanji knows is staring her directly in the face as she has her right hand up, swearing to be sworn in. All right? And that is that she's in front of a good amount of people that just do not like her. As beautiful, as smart, as hardworking, as disciplined as she is, there are just people that still do not like her. Okay? And so what I don't want you to do as a future or current or whatever divester is to try to propagate yourself to be in such a position to try and importantize yourself to a certain group of people who might not at the end of the day still be able to recognize who you are, how important you are, right? Now you can say, oh, true. I mean, shoot, we're dealing with that right now. True. We're dealing with that right now. What are you talking about, Truth? We're dealing with that right now. Well, let me. I'll rephrase it for you then a bit. I'll rephrase it for you then a bit, right? I'll rephrase it for you then a bit. The article specifically said at the top, why more black women need to date white men. It didn't say why they need to date Asian men, why they need to date Mexican men, right? It said white men. Okay. So there's a distinguishing difference right now that's being mainstreamed in divestment. And there's something that I think a lot of divestors, I'll look at the comments in a second. If you need to tell me something and you have my number, then text me. Mods, if I'm missing something, then text me. I can't look at the comments right now. I'll look at it in a second. All right. But the mainstream has mainstreamized divestment, right? They've Jesus Christed divestment. They've sensationalized him. They white Jesus him, right? I thought Jesus was black. I don't know. We don't know what color Jesus was. Some of y'all don't even believe in Jesus, so whatever. I'm not here to down that cross. No pun intended. Thank you, Jesus. Forgive me. But mainstream said why black women need to start dating more white men. Now, divestment, for a lot of you who know, some of you who don't know, means that you just date outside of the black male, right? Or your community or whatever it might be, right? Yada, yada, yada. I'll get some more things up, some more pictures and stuff. I know the graphics are lacking. Make sure also, if you're listening to this, that you donate to the links in the last live stream of the young lady who is currently, I mean, she's dying right now. I don't think she's going to survive. So she's trying to get a portable oxygen machine. She's dying, so I don't think that she's going to survive. It says that she's going to die on her profile. But she's trying to get a portable oxygen machine. So let me get the links real quick. Mods, Organic, or one of the mods in the chat, if y'all can get the links on the last live stream and just put it in the chat so we can donate to her. She's got products that you can buy. Let me show you some of the products really quickly. Let me try and find the dang link. I can't find the link right now. Let me go to my channel. Hold up. Her channel link is Instagram.com/thesicktherapist. Instagram.com/thesicktherapist. She's got these little really cute, like Powerpuff looking design patches that she just designed, man. Talented, really talented. So here it is right here. Check her out. You can support her and her work. And yeah. You have your health, so use it while you can, ladies and gentlemen. Life is a blessing. Let me get back to this. So mainstream has taken divestment and pretty much made it a white thing at this particular moment in time, right? Now, we know that it's, once again, just describes dating the best man for the job, as the pink pill would say, right? As maybe, I'm going to leave that right there. We'll insert your favorite content creators and whatever they say divestment is right there, right? But now the push has gone mainstream. It's going to continue to go mainstream. It's going to continue to grow, right? It's going to continue to grow. So let me ask you a question. What happens when things become mainstream? What happens when your favorite company goes mainstream, when your favorite shoe or your favorite movie production or your favorite musician or your favorite artist or your favorite poet or your favorite author, what happens when they go mainstream? Archer said, I really didn't want to divest. Organic Black, thank you for the Cash App. I need to pin it. Let me pin it real quick. One second. All right, hold on one second. Let me pin this. Thank you, Organic Black. All right. So there we go. As Organic Black says, SMH, I feel so bad for her. The real Leslie said, it said consider, and I believe it because we see Hispanic, Arabs, and other men of color, and I'm more likely to date them. Yeah, I'm gonna make the argument that you can stand in a room full of black people who don't like you guys either. Just make a choice. No, it's a fact. You ain't lying about that. Real Leslie C said she was at Harvard with probably 2 other black people who didn't like her. What choice did she have? Yeah, absolute facts. No. I hear you, but just Leslie, give it a second. But I hear what you're saying. I'll address all that actually. So give me 1 second, Leslie. Andrea said it's about her record. She's with a white man. Miss Brown gives life sentences to Veda. Leslie C said, I don't think that's what happened. And I think these cases are more complicated than people make them out. Yeah, I agree, Leslie. I'm sure these cases are probably more complicated than we're saying for sure. Like I said, I'm giving bro political science 101. But to be completely honest with you, though, the one case that I did look into was that guy's case. And I mean, it's kind of cut and dry. She undersentenced him. I don't know why, but I think the reason that she undersentenced him was simply to appeal, maybe as far as like a public image of when a judge goes by, that she's not like I don't know, like a hard ass. I know that sounds crazy, but I'm just saying, like in the justice system, I think that they're playing on a whole different level. You know, it's a whole different level. Like they don't see crimes the way that we see crimes. Like they're all about numbers and certain things and this and that. You know, it was to my knowledge that they were going to give everybody the maximum sentences that they could. I thought that that's what the justice system tried to do. With his history, his things and everything that he had going on, it seemed like it was a pretty cut and dry case, you know, for the most part. Like there was a lot of proof. There was a ton of proof, you know, so I don't know, but hey, tokenism doesn't help black women, men, or children. Let me say something real quick. All right. Oh God. It had to do with evidence, Leslie. Okay. For sure. Our truth said, I would rather date within my own race. It's natural, but I'll be 30 soon. I can't wait forever. I've waited long enough. Or truth, I think that that's 100% logical, 100% reasonable. Seeking him daily says, I'll be 30 this year too. So I think that in this particular case, in y'all's case, then 1,000,000%, yeah, divestment is the obvious solution, and it's the obvious route that you have to take, right? I'm not saying that you shouldn't have to take that. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that. I'm for either side, to be honest with you, you know, at this point, because I'm at the point where it's like, you know what, if we're not ever going to get along, then just F it. Everybody just go with who you want to go to, and you know, let it be what it is. But I understand the need for it for 1,000,000%, right? Let me go back to what I said earlier. Whenever something becomes mainstream, it ends up losing a part of what the essence of what made it brilliant was, right? Whenever things become mainstream, whenever an artist goes mainstream, whenever something goes mainstream, whenever you have vehicles that are made in mass production and you have a message that's being, you know, given in mass production, you have the opportunity for malfunctions in a much more larger scale to happen. So I need you to hear me right now. As wonderful as it would be to have a message go mainstream, if a message goes mainstream and the wrong message goes mainstream in the wrong way, the damage that it has the opportunity to do can be infinitely greater than if that message had not reached outside of the walls of its immediate cult community. Which is why right now we're starting to see the response from the federal government come down on these hate groups and these content creators, particularly men online, right? Because they're starting to plug and really connect just how deep rooted social media is in people's lives now, right? It is essentially influencers, social media influencers are essentially the people who control populations right now. And if you don't believe me, then just look at YouTube taking away the dislike button on YouTube. The reason they did that is because when they were doing all the pandemic vax videos and like major news corporations and like MSNBC would be talking about the cerveza virus, people were like thumbs downing the videos like 95% to 5. Like it was 95% thumbs down, 5% thumbs up. So you see like 12,000 thumbs downs on YouTube, 12,000 thumbs downs on a video, and then it'd be like 24 or like 125 thumbs up. So it was so disproportionately represented negatively in the public eye of perception, or so falsely represented, if you will, because that's what YouTube is claiming, right? It's false misrepresentation. It was so severe that YouTube decided to just take away completely the dislike button, because they realized just how powerful that dislike button was on their narrative against the people. You know, they saw that once people can en masse and en masse gather for an idea, gather for an identity, gather for a new wave, that it doesn't matter as much what the mainstream says, right? It doesn't matter as much what the mainstream says. But if mainstream decides to actually get behind it, now you're going to have a wildfire. Why? Because the people are now getting what they want through the mainstream, or so it seems, as well as offline, right? Now you've created the wildfire effect. This is when mainstream starts to align with the anonymous tinfoil hat groups, right? I'm not saying divestors are tinfoil hat groups. I'm trying to make a point here, right? So when the people who have been building bomb shelters for the past 50 years finally see that, you know, the bombs are coming down, and the news is saying, oh, take preparation, take shelter. The people in the bomb shelters are like, woo, we told you. We told you that the bombs were coming down. We told you, y'all were calling us crazy all this time. We told you that the bombs were coming down. Now look at you. Now look at you looking crazy, and we're the ones looking good, right? So that's what you're starting to see happen a little bit now. We're starting to see, damn, what was that? I think that was a jet plane. You know, I live beside a military base. That was crazy. Speaking of bombs, that sounded like a bomb. It was a plane. They got some kind of new plane. Yo, they fly new planes every once in a while, or I maybe not every once in a while, pretty rarely, but I saw something in the air the other day. I was like, I don't know. I guess the United States government made that, but it was a quiet, fast ass plane. Anyways, so we got the wildfire effect now. It just now hit mainstream. Just like when Kevin went mainstream and he was on the Future thing, they were like, oh, we'll see. We told you. We told you. Now, guess what? Guess what? Support for Kevin's dying right now. Support for Kevin's dying right now. I'm not saying that support for divestors is going to die right now. No, not at all. I'm not saying that support for anything. I'm just saying that whenever you expose a movement to mainstream critique, then you have a lot more opportunity for failure. So that's one aspect of it. What's another opportunity or another aspect for failure? Well, you have the opportunity for intrusion, right? For Trojan horses to now overtake your mainstream, right? Your newly founded mainstream, success, right? Now you have people that are going to see this what's going on. You have people of all races who are going to see what's going on, right? And this is, once again, could be severely argued with the same old truth. We're already being victimized, so what difference does it matter if we have a few more people that are going to come and try to attend the party of victimization of Black women? What difference does it matter? I'm not saying, right? I'm not saying that, well, you need to be staying with Black men because of this. I'm not saying, well, you need to be staying with you need to be race loyal, you need to be, no. I'm not saying any of that. All I'm saying is don't paint a fucking perfect picture of other races of men, okay? Because they're getting ready to come and they're getting ready to be much more predatory stories on Black women because of this falsified perfect image of this divested relationship, right? This divested look, this divested image. When behind the scenes, if we just take a little look, there's still a few things that might be a bit off, right? There are a few things which to me just don't make a lot of sense, right? To me, it just doesn't quite add up. I know I don't know everything about this content creator. I know I don't know everything about political science. All I know is what I know, and I know that something is a bit off when I know that something's off. We all do. We call that your gut intuition. We call that following your gut. Some people say follow your heart. Some people call it vibes, or something felt off, or I got chills, or I just felt uneasy, right? All these different types of things are a culmination of your senses telling you that something in regards to a particular moment in time, situation, or event in life is not adding up to the digits, to the numbers, to the situation and circumstance that it ought to add up to. And sometimes you quiet or you dull this effect because you're so fixated on what things should be, on what things ought to be versus what things are actually going on in your life. What do I mean by this? I'm not going to even say that right now. We might have to save that for another one. I'm supposed to be keeping this short. Under an hour. So what I'm going to do is this. If you're a member of the channel, I'm going to end up going live in about 30 minutes on the cell phone video. We're going to keep up this discussion and we'll keep this conversation going. I'm going to end this probably in a few minutes because I actually have to make a run. Well, I'll talk for a bit longer. It's 10:41. I could talk for a bit longer, right? Let me go back to this concept of mainstreaming these messages. The adverse effect to going mainstream is that once mainstream grasps the message, right, it portrays it how it wants to portray it. Right? It portrays it how it wants to portray it. It's kind of like when, I guess an artist signs to a big major label, right? And the label's like, oh, we want you to produce this kind of music, or hey, we're supplying it, so we want this. To a certain extent, they're going to have a good amount of influence and power in the movement once they decide to take on and support, quote unquote, I say support this image of what they think, right? Divestment is. Once again, I am all for the support of anybody that needs help, especially good people that need help, whether it be black women or black men. Obviously, the women and children are the ones who got the priority, are the only ones who are supposed to get priority to the lifeboards above Blackistan or the Titanic as it was sinking right into the ocean. Now, fortunately, actually, to be honest with you, I'm like, hey, Blackistan's doing better. People are making more money, right? But there's still obviously a ton of effed up environments in America. Okay, people are making more money though. Stuff's still effed up, bad, getting worse in some aspects. Making more money, but things are still getting worse, right? So obviously, I believe that the women and the children have priority. As a concerned member of the community that I live in, and I was raised in, to some extent, right? I am concerned about that, and this is exactly why I'm talking about right now, right? It's exactly why I'm talking about what I'm talking about right now. You see, the problem with divestment is that, unfortunately, majority of the people that represent divestment is not who should be representing divestment. Majority of the people who represent divestment right now, as mainstream media decides to pick up on divestment, are going to do more harm to black women than they're going to do good. Why? Because what mainstream media is going to do is they're going to look out for the biggest content creators in the divestment group. They're going to look out for the biggest content creators in this push, right, for black women to start dating or considering dating white men or Hispanic men or this type of men, right? And just like you don't truly like listening to the radio all the time, radio is mainstream. Just like you don't like watching TV all the time, TV is mainstream. You're listening to me on YouTube right now. You're listening to an avatar, a purple and white avatar, just speaking, right? You could be watching mainstream media. There are people who are pouring out millions of dollars into revenue resources to get your attention, but right now you're listening to me, right? Because mainstream has the ability to take something and to just change it into a way it's just fundamentally different a bit, right? The concept isn't quite the same. You could watch a reality show, but when you actually watch somebody streaming in real life and getting into a fight on YouTube or live, or when you watch something happen live and you watch Will Smith actually slap somebody, well, that's mainstream, right? Well, when it absolutely goes down live, right? And they don't blur any of the words like mainstream media does, it's a whole different experience. It's like, damn, okay, this is a lot different. This is a lot more different than what we've been used to, right? This is a lot more different. So the light is now on the divestment community. It's getting ready to grow. It's a small light, but it's getting ready to grow. It's getting ready to grow rapidly, right? There's a lot of people that are getting ready to hear about divestment. A lot of women are getting ready to hear about divestment. A lot of people have no idea what's going on in this particular section on YouTube. No idea what happens on our little section of YouTube. We're not that big of a section in comparison to the rest of the nation, at least in comparison to the rest of the world. I don't know. I'd say we're what? Probably a 50th. I'd say probably a 100th in comparison to the rest of the nation. Maybe 150th in comparison to the rest of the nation. As far as our section on YouTube, you count up how many millions between Kevin and all the other content creators, both on men and women's side, this and that. I'd say probably, maybe that's too less. I think it's starting to get bigger now. I'd say we're probably a 50th of the population, right? The people who know about what we talk about. 1 in 50 people will know the names of the content creators that we talk about on YouTube. The Cynthias, the Lexus, the Kevins, the whatever. 1 in 50 people, I say, if you're in a metropolitan area, will know about that. And that's a pretty big number. It's a pretty big number, right? And that's getting ready to grow now. All right. So, in my opinion, the best answer is for people to start being radically honest with themselves as the spotlight starts to shine, right? As other races start to get involved in this narrative and in this story, right? Because what's going to happen ultimately is, in the public eye and in the public image, if the wrong leadership is leading the right movement, then you're going to get the wrong outcome, right? If the right leadership is leading the right movement, then you'll get the right outcome. If the right leadership is leading the wrong movement, you'll get the wrong outcome. And so in both ways, whether it's right leadership or wrong leadership, the actual movement is of value or is a meaning or is not of meaning. It all depends on the leadership, right? Now, obviously, we know that this movement has a lot of value because obviously, right, we're talking about the protection of women and children, Black women and children. So this is a very valuable move. We need this for sure. There's already a lot of value in other movements that are protecting, groups of the Black community. So there's definitely a good amount of value on the opposite spectrum. Essentially because there's probably arguably more free women and children than there are Black men. So there's a lot more shared value collectively as a whole, okay? And so this is the right movement. However, if the wrong people are given the opportunity to drive the right movement, the outcome will be worse than before. Truth, what do you mean? You're just saying that. No, I'm not. Who are the right people in this case? Well, I think that's up for you to have a discussion on, right? I think that's up for you to have a discussion on for sure, right? But let me ask you something. Who are the right people? The right people are the ones that are actually doing in real life, right? Actually doing in real life what they claim to be doing online. The right people are the Ketanjis who actually have white men in real life, who are actually in positions in real life, right? Who are aspiring in real life, right? You don't have to have a white man to actually be, right? You don't have to have a Mexican man, a Latino man. You don't have to have a whatever race of person, right? But you should ideally be following somebody that does have the proof of the pudding to show you, though. Same reason that we got on Kevin for failing 2 marriages, succeeding 2 divorces, I guess you can say, right? Failing 2 marriages, not being a high value, then the $900 cologne salesman, this and that, yada, 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 being feminine, yada, 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 all this, a million stuff, right? The same critiques that we could give to Kevin for what leg do you have to stand on? A good amount of content creators who claim to be divestors we can give to as well, to be completely honest with you. This is a fact. At this point, if mainstream media starts to take a hold of the divestment movement, all they're going to see is a bunch of bullshit. They're going to see a bunch of madness. Madness. There's nowhere that they can truly, honestly take it right now past a certain point. But the light's starting to become exposed, and the light's starting to be shared on it now. The light's starting to be shared on it. What do you think is going to happen when mainstream media starts to pick up on some of the streams, the live streams, and the things of that nature? Just as the federal government is starting to make laws that are going to be creating certain penalties, jail sentences, suits for content creators going on in the future for misinformation, as YouTube says. YouTube right now will take your video down for misinformation. So they're aligning themselves out for a different level of control of this internet system, right? But just as this misinformation age will come about, the same thing could potentially happen to, to that movement as well. Why? Because there's a lot of volatility, there's a lot of hatred, and there's a lot of craziness that happens on that side. A whole lot. I.e. the Jessica X situation, where they doxed a girl and her husband, calling their job this, and that, yada, yada, yada. It's a bunch of buffoonery, man. But the message of divestment is whole. The purpose of divestment is pure. And that is, wherever you are, that you should find the best person for the job. That's a 100% pure message, even if they're black. Right? In my opinion, it doesn't mean that you have to find somebody outside of the black race. By nature, yes, it probably will be somebody outside of the black race by nature of what it is, right? By nature of the movement. It's finding somebody completely unplugged from the pop culture of the society or the current environment that you live in, right? If you're a black woman. So by that nature, by default, yes, most likely, more than likely, to find somebody that thinks outside of the culture, right? So I get that. 1,000,000%. But there's a lot of guys that I heard that are brothers that are still doing very well for themselves. Now, having said that, doing very well for yourself as a brother does not mean that you're mentally, intellectually in a position to be in a relationship. I think that's where a lot of you guys start to mess up as well. Some of you guys really are doing good. Y'all called into the show, and we've spoken to some of the guys that are doing good. We've spoken to some that aren't doing so good. We've spoken to some that do pretty well. In all fairness, we've spoken to both. We've spoken to Stan Bias. We've spoken to homeboy that's down in ATL. We've spoken, and he had a good amount of money. We've spoken to a couple dudes that didn't have any money. And there was almost, once again, similarities in thought between both. So that's what I'll have to say about that. I acknowledge, though, and I've seen that the money, the drive, the hustle is definitely going up, especially in the younger generation of black guys. They're coming up. Kids are doing a lot of content creation. Gen Z, Gen X, I don't know what generation they are. Whatever the ones that are after us, millennials. They're severe entrepreneurial minded, by default, just because they were raised on the internet. So I think that's just a facet of human evolution that's going to happen naturally. These kids are being raised by the cell phones, by computers, so they have access to communities that are already outside of the community to some extent. They might not have protection from, responsible citizens and adults, unfortunately, but they have access to information outside of the community, and so they do have the ability to somewhat unplug from the matrix of Blackistan if they are in that matrix, right? It's raining. So I'll wrap it up. Now I don't know if I can walk this, even though it's like a minute and a half. It's raining. It's so annoying. God. Okay. So I'm gonna wrap it up. I've said a lot here. I hope you can get something in here to chew on. The last thing I'd want is for the divested for something as important as the need to have an equal protection for women and children in our community. The last thing I'd want is for that to fall in a content creator's hands that does not have the merit to carry something like that. You know what I mean? That does not have the merit, the emotional intelligence, the emotional maturity, the lifestyle that gets behind it. All right. So I just want to say that. Okay. When mainstream media starts to approach some of your favorite content creators in the upcoming months, and they start to do interviews and things of this nature, and mainstream media starts to attack some of the facets of divestment or this or that, and mainstream media starts to critique because of what was said on this particular member's channel or this or that, then you need to understand what I'm saying right now, because that's coming. Okay. That's just the nature of it, because both sides are just crazy as hell, to be honest with you, right? But just like the Manosphere says, well, we're all about, right? And I acknowledge, hey, if it was all about that, then let it be about that, for sure. For sure. But you and I both know that there's some F-boy stuff that goes on in the Manosphere. There's some F stuff. I'm trying not to cuss. F-boy stuff sounded kind of gay. I'm not gonna lie. That sounded gay. I'll have to pause right there. Definitely pause. Shout out to all my gay people. I love you. Right? I'm just saying. It's going to be really hard on the mainstream to defend some of the severely twisted content creators that are the majority representative of what mainstream is starting to pick up on now, which is a growth of interracial relationships. The last thing you want a white guy seeing on CNN is something G talking about aborting his future half-looking child. Right? It's just not going to be a good look for what is a pure intention. Okay? It's not going to be a good look when mainstream media starts to pull up some of these clips of women saying certain crazy things. It's indefensible. It's indefensible. It's going to hurt on a much larger scale the public image of Black women with some of the leading content creators who are supposed to be leading this newfound whatever it might be. No, we're entering into a new game right now. You need to change. They need to change, and they need to change their message quickly and rapidly, because the clock is ticking. The clock is ticking. I made I'll show you, just so you know, I'm not just talking out of BS, all right? Let me show you the video I made a long time ago about incels. I made this video years ago, and I made this video. I don't know if I deleted it already. Let me see if I deleted it. I might have deleted it already. Hold on, because I didn't want it on my profile. And I was like, ooh, I don't know if I want this shit on my profile, because I don't want them seeing, that whatever it might be. I don't want them seeing that I was talking about this. Hold on. I'm looking for it. I got a video talking about Michael Jordan's sons. I was talking about all kinds of stuff, yo. Yo, I'm out of there. Okay, I think I deleted it. I wish I didn't. I should have just put it on private, but maybe they would have still. I guess I was being paranoid. Y'all know I'm paranoid. Listen to my music. Yeah, I definitely deleted it. F me, dude. Why do I always do that? Anyways, in this video, I was just talking about how the Texas federal government they had put incels on the watch list, like incels and everything like that. They were on the watch list. And in this video, I pretty much stated like this is gonna happen on a much larger scale. Eventually, they're gonna start locking people up, and what Texas is doing is gonna happen all across the nation. I said that in this video, but I deleted it, so you just have to take my word for it. And lo and behold, I watched Permission to Exist live stream 2 days ago, and she read off those dockets about the new federal crime prevention something something something, and it says the word manosphere in it. I was like, oh my God. It says the word manosphere in it. They're allocating resources right now. They're allocating millions upon millions of dollars for researching and allocating funds to police groups and to police stations or departments all around the nation and the private sectors and whatever it might be all around the nation to start researching and figuring out this new trend. It literally says manosphere in there. I was like, whoo. Yo, listen, gangsters are scared of the federal government, okay? Guys who have no fear are scared of going to the feds. And then some of them don't care about going to jail. They're just crazy, period. They've lost their minds. But the most violent, most non-caring, most whatever people try to stay out of the view of the federal government. Make sure you watch Permission to Exist. Let me put her channel's name right here. She did an amazing job. All right. She did an amazing job explaining this, much better job than I can. So let me put her channel link in there. Y'all probably already have her channel link. It's just like 30 people watching right now. But for the people watching on, the replay, gotta put her channel link in there. So, we're family watching right now. Somebody said, take you to the store with me. I definitely can take you to the store with me. Y'all subscribe to Permission to Exist. I could definitely take you to the store. How long? An hour and 15 minutes? What the heck? What the heck am I even talking about right now? I gotta wrap it up here in a little bit. I gotta wrap it up. In closing, ask yourself a question right now. All right. Ask yourself a question right now. In closing, if a white man was to listen to your favorite divestment content creator speak, if an Asian man or a Mexican man was to listen to your favorite divested content creator speak, if on a national, international scale, we were able to put everybody who's representing the divestment movement on Front Street right now, would the world look at it in a favorable eye? Would he look at it in a favorable eye? Would he see that person, that woman, that speaker in a favorable eye? Because after all, those are the guys, right? Those are the ones that the message is catered to and for and about, towards, in relation to. Why do I not hear any white guys on these divester channels? I haven't seen one. One. I think Loren had one. One. What are we really saying here? What are we really saying here? But it's okay. It's okay. I'm getting ahead of myself. We have much more to talk about. They are in the comments. Erica Williams there in the comments. Erica, I could make a avatar right now. Let me change my avatar to a white man. Hold on. Hold up. Hold on. Let me change my avatar. No, I'm not going to change it to a white man. I'm just going to hold on a second. I'm actually, y'all didn't know this. I'm actually Future. Yeah, I'm actually Future. Okay. So believe it or not, I'm Future. I'm typing right now. Okay. Hello, I am Future. Future coming to you. My R keyboard's broken. Coming from the future. Okay. My R key's broken, okay? But I am Future and I'm coming. So just take my word for it. Okay? Just take my word for it because I'm here and my avatar says I'm here. So obviously I have to be here because obviously. Do you see what I mean? But so I'm telling you this and you're like, yeah, truth, that makes a lot of sense. But why didn't you come to that conclusion yourself? Why did I have to tell you? And that's the problem with content creation. You see, this is the problem with people. You see what I mean? And you don't mean to, you don't mean to, the honest future facts, organic, I know. You don't mean to do this. And this is why I'm, this is why I have to make these streams, because if you're not careful, you can fall into it so quickly. And it's very disingenuous. You need to be very careful, and you need to really do your own research. This is deeper than rap. This is content creation. This is entertainment at this point, but now it's not entertainment. Now it becomes real life, just like it became real life for me. And when it becomes real life for you, things change. Okay. When mainstream gets a hold of ideas, they make it real life because the mainstream creates real life narratives. Just like most people, most of y'all went out and got the shot. I didn't get the shot, but I know that there was a certain thing, and I know that there was a certain thing. There's no right answer to that, okay? I'm not saying there's a right or wrong answer to the cerveza virus or this or that, but I knew that there was a mainstream idea of fear and panic, and that's what I sensed from the mainstream. It seemed like everywhere there was fear and panic, but in my real life, I didn't see it. Now, don't get me wrong. I know that it's somewhere out there for sure, because I know that people have been affected by it. I know that people have been on mess, that there have been people that have lost loved ones to the cerveza virus and this and that. But I'm just saying, in my own personal life, in my own personal experiences, what I saw with my own two eyes, the same experiences that we rely and that you give a credence and account for your favorite content creators to give judgment and to give information and to give advice to you for. I didn't see people falling out in the streets. So I didn't judge and make my decisions based off of what the mainstream idea was picking up on, like most people did. But that's the reason why you're here listening to me right now, because the way I think, the way that I speak is a bit counterintuitive to most of the ideas that a lot of people feel. That's the reason that I somewhat got popular to begin with, is because there was a black guy talking a little differently from how most black guys talk, but he was speaking truth. But the interesting thing about this, right? Leslie, I'm happy for you. Good. Archer said, right at truth. That's why I didn't get it. They was giving out 2K. Shoot, they were giving out 2K. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, I nigga needed 2K though. 2K. Woo! Nigga needed that. I had to. No, I'm kidding, Truth. I'm kidding. Yeah, when they started giving away money, I was like, what the fuck? Y'all niggas ain't, y'all white people never gave me no money. I'm lying. White people gave me money, man. I'm fronting. White people definitely gave me money. Shout out to the white people. Shout out to white people, because white people definitely helped out a lot. But no, I was just like, I didn't see it. Right now, people were falling out left and right. If niggas were falling off of the Empire State Building and ambulances were running 24/7 down the street, I would say, you know what? I think I'm about to go. I can see now. It makes sense to me now. And guess what? Now they're starting to release documents. Now the FDA is releasing the documents because a circuit court judge mandated that they release the documents and not sign them or seal the documents away, showing the over 1,200, which is actually, to be honest with you, it's not like out of the ordinary. I think like all vaccines have I'm treading the line right now. Donate to not my channel. Please donate to the link that we put earlier. What was I saying? I don't even know what I was saying, bro. But yeah, I don't know what I was saying. So somebody put in the chat, what was I saying? Oh yeah, a lottery ticket. Oh yeah, shout out to white people. Yeah, shout out to white people. Cerveza. So check it out. Yeah, if I saw people passing out left and right, man, divest content creator gold right here. I don't see nothing. But don't worry, That's coming up. That's coming up, coming up, coming up, 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 coming up, coming up, coming up, up, up. I mean, my God, it's like, dude, don't now, but once again, I don't want to get on the people who did take it because listen to me. I watched an interview with a guy that said he didn't even really want to do it like that, but he did it because he felt like he was doing the best thing for society. I listened to a guy who was experiencing severe poke complications right now. Man, this dude is so sweet. He's like one of the nicest like people you could ever meet. He's like a mountain biker, one of those guys who eats Cliff Bars all day, who does mountain biking, who donates to charity and makes $35,000 a year. White guy, right? He was like, I took the vaccine because I wanted to do my part in oh fuck. I keep saying vaccine. I'm this one's done for. I took because I wanted to do my part in society and actually I wanted to actually, like help to quench this. I was trying to do my part. That's why he took it. He was feeling great. He's healthy. He was like, I wasn't scared of it. He said, I wanted to do my part. He ended up getting stupid sick, like neurological problems. And that's not even that common, y'all. So don't go running around thinking that if you got all of that, you're going to have issues. To be honest, we don't know. I'll say this though. All right. What we do know is that they tried to hide. They're trying man. No, bro. I'll just say prayers, man. I just say prayers. And I just hope, that we don't, as humans, think that we're smarter than we are. That's all I'm going to say there. So, no right answer there. No right answer, but there are some wrong answers. I'll tell you that much. There are some dead wrong answers in that case, right? But the bigger thing was, and what hit me was the guy who was trying to help and ended up doing more harm to himself and his family because now he can't support his family. Now his wife is working double as hard because he simply can't do it, all because he tried to help, but because of misinformation, because of a misrepresentation, because of mainstream, because of the identity of this thing, it was being pushed in such a way and being so supported, so violently supported for whatever reason. I don't know. So violently supported though. We just, we got to rally around this and they can do no wrong. And these content, they're just perfect. And it doesn't matter what they do or they say, because at the end of the day, what they say is so. Now irreparable damage is done. Why? Because you let somebody run off with the narrative and not check them. You cannot have anybody with absolute power. Now they're talking about 2, 3, and 4 boosters. Now they're trying to go back. Now they're trying to double back. Man, I saw part of the documents, man. There's over 1,200 side F of the thing. And dude, they're reporting like over 125,000 incidences in the VAERS reporting system right now of adverse react. Woo! I don't know, man. It is not looking that. It is looking very interesting for a decent amount of people. We just don't know right now. I'll say that. But what they do know is that there's a concerted effort for the people at the top of these pharma companies to not keep the information, not in public eye. But thank God that there are judges that can't be bought out. Thank God that there's a circuit judge that rejected, I don't know, $20, $50, $100 million that pharmaceutical companies were probably trying to offer him behind closed doors. And he said, no, I'm going to hold true to my values. I'm going to hold true to the morals. You need to release the 1,200 side effect, the 1,200, I think it was a 1,448 page docket of all the side effects and known issues with the vaccine. You need to drop it now, because they were trying to hold it for 75 years. They tried to hold the document for 75 years. Pfizer tried to lock up the document for 75 years, but a federal judge made them release it because he had integrity. You see, when you have integrity, you can't be bought. These content creators are bought, and they don't live what they say. Selling you poison, but telling you it's the truth. So, this has been another episode of The Honest Truth. Keep your wits about you in your day-to-day activities. I definitely got to walk down to my little store because they're going to close in 15 minutes. So that means that, it's like a 3-minute walk, so I got time. But the rain, yeah, 75 years, man, 75 years, serious. According to Mike, said they also had to delete 70,000 plus names from the death records that were mistakenly attributed. That's crazy, crazy, crazy. I heard some, well, I'll talk, OB. We'll talk. The side effects of some over-the-counter. Yeah, no. This is different, NJ Prophet. This is different. This is much, much more different. But I tell you what, NJ Prophet, but you're right. Some of the side effects definitely are, but this is different though. And I'll tell you this. Watch. Hold on. Let me get the doctor for you to watch, because I don't know that much about. I speak in bro science, bro political science. In a very interesting type of sense. So let me just say this. Oh man, that's what I meant to do, bro. Dude, I meant to do that so bad, but I completely forgot. I meant to have like the freaking I completely forgot. I meant to have like you watching this entire live stream through the little TV that's on the icon right now. That's what I meant to have, but I completely forgot to do the background and the visuals for it. I'm stupid. Let me find this guy though. Dang, man, that would look so much cooler. It's all right. I know a lot of y'all listen to me while you're doing something anyways. You're not just actually listening to, oh, look at that. Deeper PTE is live right now. Deeper PTE is live right now. All right. Let me find this doctor guy and then we can continue. His name is Dr. John Campbell. All right. Now here's his picture right here. Dang, I should have freaking done that. The graphics would have looked so much cooler, but we'll do the graphics next time. Yeah. Dr. John Campbell. And then there's another guy. There's an Indian doctor as well. He's been covering this since the very beginning. All right. CNN reporter confronts doctor spreading. So, hey, listen, I just say watch for yourself. Do your own research. If you even do a minute amount of research, it's evidently clear and outrageously clear, that there's a lot going on in the world around us. Anyways, listen, y'all, I'm going to wrap this up. I love y'all. I'm going to talk to y'all soon. And I'll talk to y'all soon. All right. Y'all be safe. Let me play the intro coming out. Until next time, I'll be back in a couple of days. Am I going to do the special members live? We'll do the special members only live tomorrow. Okay. Tomorrow night, we have the special members only live. Same time, 8:39. I'll set the thing up, the preview up. Become a member now. And yeah, I'll see y'all soon. Okay. Good night, everybody.